everybody. Welcome to the League Community Podcast recording live at PAX East 2016. Woo!
We did it.
We did it.
Woo! There's a crowd.
There is a crowd. There's folks out there. We did it, Reddit. Yeah? No? Okay. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Andy Belford, a.k.a. Zwill. I am joined today by my wonderful co-host, Kristen.
Hi. How are you?
Kristen Mini White Rabbit Fuller. We are part of the player relations team here at Riot Games. And it is one of the rare pleasures, one of the wonderful things that we get to do in our job when we get to record podcasts with guys like our guest today, Jonas Sp4zie Ring.
How's it going?
It's wonderful.
A pleasure being here with you two lovely people. And first time at PAX, I'm excited. And this is the first thing I get to do. Pretty good start, I'd say.
I think it's an amazing start. I mean, your first experience, is this your first time in Boston?
It is. It is.
Okay.
It's a beautiful city.
I love it. Like, as a European fella, one thing that I really love about cities is when I can get out and sort of feel like I can walk somewhere.
Right.
Totally got that sense today when I walked and grabbed a cup of coffee. It felt great.
Awesome, awesome, and it does help that the weather is actually working out for us. So,
Yes, it is.
you are here, of course, from Sweden.
Yeah, from Sweden.
Sweden. Did I say it properly?
Well, yes. All you have to do is bring out the sort of. You have to talk a little bit at the edge of your mouth if you want to sound Swedish.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Duly noted. If I ever
At
need
risk
to sound Swedish.
offending our many Swedish players. So.
We love it though, so it's fine.
So we're super excited to have you here. For the folks at home who may have never heard of you, the few folks I'm guessing who've never heard of Sp4zie, could you please tell everybody at home who it is and who you are and what you do?
Right. So my name is Sp4zie. That's like my nick online. It's also on my shirt if you're watching the video here. It's what I do is basically I create content around League of Legends mostly, and the way I do that is sort of through my YouTube channel and my live stream. And I think if I want to summarize it, I have a team that I call the PAX, and we play together, and with sometimes success and sometimes not. And what I try and do is sort of highlight those moments and all the fun times you can have in this wonderful game. And we're sort of a little bit mixed between, like, some of us are unranked and some of us are like even up there in terms of, like, diamond and above, which is cool because that means that we get a lot of different moments. Like,
yes.
Sometimes you'll find someone who just cannot CS, and that'll be fun. And then sometimes you'll find someone who just jumps in and makes an epic play, and then you can highlight that. So it's a little bit of a mix between that, but yeah, I try to compile maybe 5 or 6 games into 5 minutes of enjoyable content. That's what I do.
So what I'm hearing from that is it's all scripted.
Of course.
Okay.
Naturally.
It's not true. You get a lot of so you play a lot of games then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, very often it's a lot of games compiled into small nidbits or whatever you call it. And then I do some stuff around that. I like to experiment with, like, sometimes I do a little dub or a little voiceover of some sort of esport cast, or maybe one day I'll try and do a really cool montage of a champion that, isn't played that often. So it's a little bit of a mix, but a lot of League of Legends content, basically. It's what it's all about.
Okay, all right. So it's funny, we were actually talking in our preparation for this recording.
Oh, we've done our prep.
We did our prep. We have notes. They're right here. Look at that. Notes.
Oh.
We're ready to go. So we did a little talk, and I actually discovered that you and I have kind of a little bit of a shared background. You got started making YouTube videos about a game that I used to work on back in the day. So how did you get started, actually?
Yeah, that was such a weird coincidence.
Yeah, we're all kind of related.
Kristen, too,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, that's weird. So my first YouTube channel was, what did we say? Was it like 7 years ago? Or was it?
It had to have been like 8 or 9 years ago at this point,
Yes.
yeah.
I was young. I had a fake British accent that I thought I pulled off completely. And I did content around a game called Warhammer Online.
Yep.
Which it turned out you guys both worked for.
Yes.
Yes.
Which was like such a sick coincidence. And I showed you my channel, and you were like, oh, wait, you're that guy? And I'm like, no, wait, no. Because this was like such a small little channel. And, this is way back in the day where YouTube videos weren't in HD.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's when we're talking.
The dark
way
ages.
Back. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that was when I started, and at that point I didn't really have an ambition with it. I just did it because it was fun. When I started my channel that I have right now, it was more of a, all right, let's see what we can make out of this. Let's actually read up on some things before we get started and have a theory about where we want to go, right?
So I'm very curious. I'd like to hear your fake British accent, sir.
Well, I can't do it right now because I think I've prepped to. Oh wait, you just want to get right there. How do you, I don't even know. Why did you put me on the spot like that?
This is beautiful.
You did
The thing is, it was legit back then because I thought that's the proper way to talk, right? That's me being me, which it totally wasn't. But it's fine. I'll look back on it and go, oh, there's been some progression. That's cool.
Well, that's an interesting subject. Like you talked about, that's you being you. Like when you first started, were you being literally somebody else, or like how did you come to terms?
I mean,
with that?
just as in real life, it takes a while to figure out who you are, and it's the same thing with like if your ambition is to become a personality or whatever, you're gonna have to experiment. You're gonna have to put yourself out there and try different things. If you would watch some of my older content, you would feel like this guy's probably trying a little bit too hard. That's
A bit of a caricature.
Yeah, that's how I would summarize myself back then. But it was really good. It was a learning experience for me, and I sort of grabbed some things that I found. And I mean, at the end of the day, sure, everything that I am online is very close to me. But at the same way, I'm not going to sit at a family dinner and sort of like go dudes when they serve the ham, right? That's not how it works. But it's sort of like, it's close to who I am, but it sure is a persona as well.
I think I've noticed that personally. Like, I've been watching your content for quite a while now, your videos for quite a while, and I've had the good fortune to get to know you at TwitchCon last year and see you a few times. Like, and I've always found that you're a very genuine person, which is
that's cool.
Which is good because like I know a lot of times, and this isn't a knock to anybody who's a YouTuber out there, right? But a lot of times people kind of have to affect a character,
sure,
in a lot of ways. And I'm sure that there is to some degree a Sp4zie the character, but it is more true to life than you, right?
Yeah, I guess, and that's a very conscious choice that I've made. You'll get to a position inevitably when you do content online that you'll notice that, oh wait, so if I do it this way, I get this reaction, and it might even be better than if I'm closer to myself or something, and that's fine. I totally don't disrespect anyone who chooses either of those paths, but there's definitely a key point in my career, if you will, where I sort of went with, I'm going to stick with the more closeness to me, because I think that's how I keep myself happy for longer. It's really hard to put on a face that isn't close to yourself for a long period of time, and I wanted to be in this for the long run, so I sort of went with that way. So it's really cool that you're saying that. I take that as a huge compliment.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure.
So what drove you into creating content in the first place?
Well, I always wanted to do something, I feel. My studies that I did when I started the channel was in radio production, so I wanted to speak on the radio. I thought that was a really cool medium, using your voice, and then somewhere along the line, I realized that it's easier to get a radio gig if you're famous than if you have a diploma. That was the sad truth of it. That's not the reason I went into YouTubing. The reason I started with that was because I've been on YouTube since, forever. That's like my premier platform for consuming any content. And being a gamer, we were pretty early on that platform, so we were around. And I always knew that maybe when I started with my first channel, it wasn't really a job, but I could totally tell that it was going in that direction. So it was like a little bit I had on the back of my head that I wanted to try it at some point. And when I got up to my studies, I realized that these were studies structured around having a lot of free time that you could then spend on getting into a studio, practicing who you want to be in a radio show, how to write a script and all that. And I realized that a lot of my classmates, unfortunately, didn't want to do that as much.
Right.
And I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted to get good at something. So I sort of found that, hey, let's do this YouTube thing again, because again, I did try it. I wanted to try it again, and it only required me. So that's what I spent all my free time with while I was studying. And then after 2.5 years out of 3, I quit my education to sort of pursue it full time. And I don't regret it one bit.
That's awesome.
It's been great.
Live life without regrets. But before we go any further, I just want to take a second to acknowledge the folks who are gathering out there.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys.
Thank you for coming out, everybody.
So
we appreciate it. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yay! And don't worry, we're actually going to be doing some Q&A here in just a little bit. We're not going to go on for too long with the questions and the talking, because we want to get your all's questions for Sp4zie here in just a moment. So, anyways, we are live at PAX East 2016 right now. For those of you who are listening out there in podcast land. So, I'm sorry, Kristen, you had a question.
I was going to ask, what do you think is the most challenging thing that you've had to overcome whenever you made that decision to do YouTube content?
Well, I think the biggest challenge of be it streaming or, in my case, YouTubing, is to spend the time needed to get good at it. I think that it's not some. For me, I really didn't feel like I was a natural at creating content around this. I just put in a lot of freaking hours and learned how to do it. And at some point, you're gonna feel like, why do I even do this? For some reason, I was lucky and I found it so fun that even after my 50th video that 3 people watched, I felt like it was cool to put on a 55th video.
It's easy for you to say.
I had my first tongue twister when I get here. It's like, mashishish. I'm like, sure, I'll pull that off.
Nailed it.
That works. So that's definitely the thing. Spending the time, like, sitting there in your college dorm and just sort of like ignoring parties that's going on next to you that are really fun just to do a video that 3 people will watch. It's kind of a hard thing to do sometimes. And I feel like I was lucky that I found it so fun and enjoyable that I stuck with it. But at some point, smart people will quit because there's so much commitment required to get somewhere. But it's also maybe a little bit inspiring because if you really want to, I think anyone can get good at it if you put in the hours and put in the effort.
So one of the things that we're talking about here, by the way, folks, if you haven't heard already, we have the Rift Walk upstairs. You should go and check it out.
So cool.
It's pretty amazing. We have a giant thrush puppet. We have
Don't ruin
all
the
sorts
surprise.
of. Well, I mean, it's a giant thrush puppet. It's like there's not a whole lot to ruin. Like when you walk in and you see it, and it's amazing. The Itchy Tasty guys did an outstanding job with it. So we have the giant thrush puppet up there. But the focus around the Rift Walk is actually a big focus is actually around the history of League and also the history of League content creators like yourself and like cosplayers and like artists like Ross Draws and stuff like that. And so, like, you've been in the League content creation like scene community.
Yeah, I feel a little bit old, man.
For a long time, right? Since the beginning, almost.
Yeah.
Right?
Been around
since 2009. And I guess one of the questions I would ask is like, why League? What drew you to League? And was you were like, hey, I can kind of plant my flag here and make some awesome videos.
Right. I feel like first thing it was a little bit. I guess it was a little bit lucky that League turned out to be as huge as it was because that means that there's a bigger audience pool, which is cool. But if League wouldn't work out, I would switch to a different game. I think I was more focused on getting somewhere with my hobby, which was more YouTubing than gaming at that point, that I would totally just find another game if it didn't work out. Luckily, what's so cool with League is the variety, right? And you can get in there and have so many different experiences. Like just the fact alone that if we just pick a comp that everyone is running teleport, it just turns into a different game completely. And that's just a small little thing you'll do, right? So it sort of like provides you with endless content, if you will.
Yeah.
And that was a key point for me. And also the fact that it came very naturally with the gang that I've been playing with for like 7 years. And we all enjoy that game. So, I mean, that's sort of where I ended up. But yeah, again, I think I would totally play another game if League didn't turn out to be what I could work with my content.
Okay. So, like, you've seen, like, since the beginning with, like, Guardsman Bob and like Civ HD in the
back
early
in the
days.
day, yeah.
Yeah, you remember Bob, right?
Yeah. He's still streaming.
He is still streaming.
Yeah.
They different games at this point. He's a Finnish? No, Dane. He's a Dane.
Yeah.
If I remember correct. He's from Denmark.
That's correct.
But how in your eyes, like how has the League, community of content creators, like how has it evolved and changed over the years?
There's a Deadpool sitting there watching me, and I'm getting a little bit freaked out.
It is. It's a little like right next to him is a Harley Quinn as well.
Yeah,
so,
perfect.
Like, woo!
Right. So the question was, what's the difference now to then?
Yeah. Well, how has it like changed and evolved? Like,
Right. I mean, it's of course, since League is huge right now, there's a lot of content creators, which is great because that means that if you really want to make it, you have to step it up, and it has to be like the moment a game turns that huge, the content around it will also be so much better in quality, just because that's how it works out. And that's a good thing, I think, because I mean, as a consumer, I watch a lot of things as well. I want it to be good, right? I want it, if I'm looking for humor, I want it to be really funny. And if there's someone else who's pushing those boundaries, then that's great, right? Raising the bar or whatever it's called, right? So I definitely feel like a big change is, of course, that it's the content bar is kind of high, and that's good. I think that's really good because I get a little bit proud of that because it means that we're pretty picky when it comes to like content. We want something that's good and something that's great, and if it's okay, I mean that's good enough, but we need something more. And I don't know. I just like the idea. I like it. I like the fact that it might be really hard to do it right.
Do you feel like you have leveled up in that way? Like you're pushing yourself every day to get better?
I
and
definitely
better?
feel like I get better every day, and that's why I keep doing this, because it's like that's what drives me. Like the fact that I look at a video I posted 3 months ago, I'll just look at it and go, why did I do that? Like what was I thinking? It also means that I'm seldom very happy with what I put out, which is, I guess I could work on that a little bit to get in a more comfortable state. But I mean, I never feel like I'm done, because I mean, the moment I start slacking, there's going to be someone else who picks it up. So
Right.
and that's cool. I wish for nothing more than for me to be challenged in what I do, because otherwise I'd get bored.
It keeps you motivated. I mean,
Sure.
I think that
definitely.
Kristen and I can definitely attest to it from being in the video game industry. Like, there's always like 100,000 people out there who want to do what you're doing, right?
Right.
And so, the knowledge of that, like, just keeps you motivated, keeps you going.
For sure.
Keeps you growing.
And what you're doing, like to add on to that, like what you're doing is always changing and evolving with video games too. So like games are not, they don't exist in a vacuum.
Yeah.
So everything like social media is always changing. YouTube's always changing. Like all these landscapes always changing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Right on. So we're gonna actually not do a super long talking segment. So I think we've actually gotten a lot of talking in already. Before we jump to some audience Q&A, if you guys are about ready, we're gonna have Jeff out there. Riot, what's your? I forgot. Turn around, Jeff. Mr. Crumb,
There
right?
it is.
Mr. Crumb is
There it
going to be
is.
standing out there. If you want to ask some questions to Sp4zie, go ahead and line up right over here in the aisle.
Come on, guys,
And
don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We'd
Do it.
love to answer some questions.
I want
for
to
you.
hear a question from Deadpool. Yeah, go for it.
From Deadpool. There we go. All right. So before we get to some audience Q&A there, do you have any projects or anything you're working on that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I'm always in a state of working with, I have two things. One is like the premiere content that is like, there's the epic moments and the standard stuff that you've seen on the channel for a long time. And then the other thing is like big projects, like songs and like montages and stuff like that. And I think I have about 4 or 5 of them right now in the makings, which is hard because it's hard to sort of allocate time correctly towards it. But I also feel like it's hard to push it in any sense, because like they'll be out when they're done, and that's sort of the luxury that I have with those projects. I don't want to stress them because I need another video up there. I just have them there, and when they're done, they'll be out, right? And I think that's kind of cool.
Okay, right on.
the
All
way I
right.
like it.
It looks like we have Deadpool
Yes!
coming up for a question. If you have a question, feel free to jump up, guys. No, guys and gals, no question is too risky. All right, so
Test.
there we go. Mr. Poole.
Hey, Sp4zie, I love you.
Oh, thank you.
One question, since I play League.
Right.
How do you go about climbing very well?
Well, I guess what rank are you?
Well, right now I'm only plat. I am gonna get.
Only.
Well, I am going to get up to Diamond. That is my goal. I don't want to end
Okay.
any season without being Diamond. Whereabouts in Diamond? We'll see. I think in general, what I like to stress a lot is that for me, it's more efficient to play less games than it is to knock out like 10 games a day. Because when I go into ranked, I'll have a fresh mentality, and I'll be able to, from a loss, even get some good pointers at what I should do next if I haven't played like 12 games. If I say to myself, I'm going to play 3 games a day, I can get a lot more efficiency into those games. And it's also, that comes with a mindset that might be a little bit good to have, which is don't stress it. You'll get there. I mean, if you're good enough, you'll get there. You don't have to squeeze in a ton of games if you don't. I mean, the seasons are long. You'll get there. So that's definitely a good advice, I think, that you could take on board. Don't have to squeeze out a lot of games constantly.
I always this season's actually been particularly rough for me. I'm not quite plat. I finished out last season in the silver area, but it was this season's been a little bit like rougher for me to climb, I would say.
Right.
And so I've noticed, like, as soon as I start to go on tilt, I'm just like, all right, time to stop playing for a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Take
good.
a little bit of a break.
Yep.
And come
Break
back
in
to
there.
it with a fresh mind.
that's where you have to draw the line.
That's absolutely so.
Thank you for your question, by the way.
Thank you very much for your
Stepped up.
question. And I'm sure everybody out there, you guys are all plat, right? Or diamond. Everybody's diamond. I see lots of shaking.
Yeah, a lot of
Challenger.
diamonds, of course.
Challenger.
Come on, man.
That's right, Challenger. All right, next question, please.
Yo, Sp4zie,
That's the one.
I got a question.
Shoot.
There's always that one champion no one can play. What is that champion to you?
That I cannot touch and get right.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. There's quite a few of them, actually. One that just doesn't stick with me is Jin. I just can't get, like, any ammo system champion, like Graves as well. I just go in there and I'm like, what is going on? I can't fire when I want to fire. What is this? So I played a little bit of Jin when he came out, and I was, it's the opposite of clicking. Is there a word for that? Like when it just doesn't click, it's just like
You don't. You're not grokking it.
and I'm like barfing a little bit. Oh, this doesn't work, man.
It's a
What's
new
going
word.
on?
You just made it up.
Grok? No, grok's not a new word.
It's not?
No.
And
Now I
as
feel
for,
silly.
like, as for like favorite roles and stuff, I like to play a lot of mid right now and jungle every now and again. And of course, Vel'Koz will always be dear to my heart. Oh, and he's getting buffed.
He is getting buffed. Yes.
Yes.
Totally not that skin though. By the way, the totally not Vel'Koz skin.
So good.
Definitely not Vel'Koz.
Definitely not Vel'Koz.
Yeah.
Vel'Koz,
Yeah,
sorry.
don't worry about Jen. When it comes to Zed, it's the same thing with me.
All right, I got you, man.
All right.
Thanks for the question, buddy.
Right on. Right on.
Awesome.
All right, we got another question.
A man in a great hat.
This is. It looks as though he just got back from the wild north.
Yes.
sir.
Of the great north.
That's actually kind of true.
Where are you from?
From Massachusetts, but I was in Alaska.
Oh wow.
Sweet.
Well, welcome
Wow.
back.
Thank you. So my question is, Sp4zie, have you played the mage updates on the PBE, and what do you think of them?
So I have not, which is unfortunate because otherwise I'd have some great responses to that. All I can say is that we had a little discussion last night with Patrick and some other dudes about like all the changes, and there was like hot, heated discussion going on.
Talking about Skarazard.
Yeah,
by the
exactly.
way.
And there was a lot of talk, and it was all kind of esports focused, which was cool because that's usually a good point to bring
Right.
in. Like, how do we make esports entertaining and stuff? I just stepped in a little bit and wanted to say, like, I kind of like updates in general because for me, it's kind of like when you release a new expansion for another game. Like, it's kind of like I go in there and it's like, now there's a new league. I mean, there's dragons that are different elements and stuff. Like, what's going on there? I have the luxury of not having to care as much about like the impacts and just the fact that, hey, it's a new game. That's kind of cool. I'm going to enjoy playing this because it's going to be different, right? So as for the mage updates, I'm just excited that they're touching a lot of my mains, which is cool, like Seraph as well, and Syra. I played a lot of Syra back in the day. So I'm just super excited to, get some new league experiences going.
I know we just did our PBE live stream with all the designers who worked on all the mage updates and
Right.
everything. Folks were really excited. Like,
Yeah.
and the designers had a lot of fun playing the champs and talking about it. We got a VOD on our Twitch channel. If you want to watch that VOD or get some info on that, you can hit us up later on, and we'll be happy to tell you about it. So, thanks so much for the question. We appreciate it.
I'm just scared of a Mordekaiser with the giant dragon now.
that looks so scary.
The Elder Dragon. The dragons are crazy, man.
I mean, that dragon is so beef.
Have you seen so what do you think actually of the new dragon system, the Earth, Fire, Air?
Again, that's
Wind?
a really hot, heated discussion that we had last night was just around the dragons and like their purpose and the fact that some people thought that it didn't fulfill the need for dragon, the new updates, which was fine.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just happy that it's going to be like super different. It's like, oh no, the dragon is green or brown or whatever it is. I don't even know. That's going to be so cool. Let's try and get that. Oh, now it's white. It's going to rush across the map. That's going to be fun. Like, this is the way I play League. Is sort of like, just get in there and get your hands dirty and just, oh man, new stuff is great. So I'm just excited.
I imagine that with content creation, especially, like, it actually has to be super helpful.
Of course.
To have the
Of
game
course.
constantly changing
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
constantly refreshing too. So
A lot of, like, the fact that I'm here right now, I love it, but I'm missing out on Earth weekend.
this is true. Who's sad they're not playing Earth right now? Look at all those hands going
Oh.
up out in the audience right
They're
now.
even in the people
So
walking.
here's the thing, actually, don't all run over there at once. But if you go to the free play area over there, I think, or over there, go to the free play area. You can play League over there. You can log into your account, and you can play Earth while you're here at PAX East.
What a
So-
good solution.
I know,
There you
right?
go.
So you can get a little bit of Earth in while you're at it. All right, we have another question, and this person, look at this shirt.
Now, swagging the merch, as you should.
Totally about the merch.
Love it.
So I play ARAM for the most part, so I don't really get to play any ranked games, but it's really interesting trying to get my teammates to work with me in a format that's not meant to be taken seriously. That's what I mean these
Right.
days. So I was wondering what advice you have to get people more enthusiastic about properly playing, or at least trying, as opposed to just throwing when they die first time in the first 5 minutes.
Right. I think the best, I mean, it's basic tutorialistic ambitions that you have there. And it's if you can sort of introduce the funness to it as well, like don't remove the funness in exchange for in-depth knowledge, I think that's the most important part. What did you say?
I don't want it to be completely serious, but you know, I do want to at least try.
And I think that's a really good standpoint already to sort of try and point out things that are fun because you know what's going on. Like the fact that if we're talking a normal game, this dragon means this now. Like usually when we play together in CG, it's kind of like, you know, we don't really know what dragons do. We just know that the last one, don't let them get that, because that'll suck, right? And that's fine, but every now and again, it's like the third one gives this, and it's sort of like, it gives you a little bit of extra aha and a little bit of more fun. Like, yeah, it's all about bringing more fun, I think. And if you do that, everyone's going to be all on board trying to sort of get better as well, I think.
I think that the inception of when we implemented clubs, I think that actually helped a lot because you're able to find more people who are kind of like-minded, who have similar play styles to you too.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the subreddit, but there's actually a subreddit out there where you can actually look through, like the people post like advertisement for clubs and stuff like that that you can try and enjoy. You just kind of like, you know, the old school days of MMOs where people would like post like guild recruitment threads. So there's a subreddit that does the same thing out there. So
speaking of subreddits, there's a great subreddit called Things Jon Snow Knows, and it's empty. Next question.
What? I'm sorry, that's so meta.
It's amazing.
Hello?
How's it going?
Pretty well. Okay, imagine this scenario. I'm a Gnar against a Malphite, and he's building just pure tank. Do I rush Black Cleaver or Frozen Mallet?
Now we should get some pro players up here instead. These are some hardcore, like in-depth questions. What do you guys thoughts?
Okay, so you're
I
up
don't
against
play top lane.
You're up against a Malphite, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I want you to keep in mind that I'm currently in Bronze 3. so exactly, there we go. Deadpool's like, yep, Bronze 3. Why doesn't that surprise me? Gosh, I think that you're up against a Malphite, so you're going to want like the armor shred, but I think that the Frozen Mallet is probably more important.
Probably. I always build Bork because I like it. That's probably why I lose a lot when I play Gnar. But, you know, each to their own. Sometimes I'll definitely I'll wait an item build for a better one because that's the one I like to play, you know?
Yeah.
But then again, that's when I play normals. In ranked, I probably would hope that I didn't get top.
Right.
I have no input on this because I only play bot lane.
Yeah. I think the answer is actually Iceborne Gauntlet and Sunfire Cape.
Perfect. It's always the answer. Always the answer.
Meta jokes.
Yeah,
for the win. Thank you for the question.
Hey, Sp4zie. How did you come to found CG?
All right, so it's actually a guy called Laubugs, whom you might have seen in the video, who founded CG. And this was way back before the channel was even a thing. And the whole idea, I think, was that he wanted to sit down and create something natural that would happen naturally, but also put a little bit of a theme on it, because otherwise things usually get out of control. So a lot of questions I get has to do with like, so we're a bunch of friends, but then there's this one dude or this one girl who just comes in and ruins it because they're too serious or they're too not serious or whatever. And what he did, it was kind of smart. He just sat down and like, whenever we invite someone, they're gonna have to accept these ground rules, basically. And they weren't that, you know, advanced. It was basically just have fun and don't rage. And have fun and don't rage in whatever way you want to. If it's in ranked, fair enough. If it's in another game, that's also cool. But the fact that we just put a little bit of a theme on it like that, it helped out a lot, because then we could always point to, if someone wasn't being the way we wanted to enjoy games, we could just say, well, you know what you signed up for. We want to hang out in this sense. And it wasn't like a contract or it, but we told everyone that we invited that this is what we want to do. And then over the years, it sort of like founded to just a group of friends who all had that value. And that was really healthy, because whenever I log on now and play with my friends, I know exactly how much fun I'll have, and I'll never be like disappointed, which is like really important, I think. Because like I think we should all be very, we should all demand a lot from our time at games. We shouldn't be okay with like, oh, I didn't enjoy that last game. Well, why would you play it then? We should all like want more out of our gaming experiences, and that's a great way of doing it. So sit down with your friends and lay some ground rules, man. Just say like, this is the way we want to do it. He's pointing to his friend like, yeah, that's what we do, bro. Let's go have a coffee right now and discuss it. Oh, that's cool. Good question.
Awesome. Thanks for the question. Man. If you're just now walking by, this is actually a live recording of our League Community Podcast. Our guest today is Sp4zie.
Sp4zie.
Sp4zie. I still think you should go with the @ sign.
Oh yeah, that was good.
You should at least trademark it. Right?
Sp4zie. Yeah.
We are doing a live Q&A right now, so if you would like to ask a question of Sp4zie, just feel free to line up. We're getting all sorts of questions. We got a question right now, though.
With another awesome shirt, I might
Is that
add.
an auntie shirt?
Oh, it's a planty shirt. Look at it.
A planty? Auntie.
there it
Why did I
is.
say auntie? Planty.
Close enough.
They're real good shirts, too.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm wondering, I remember the Berlin video, and you kind of toured around the city. So I'm
Right.
wondering if this is the first time you've been to the United States, and how you're enjoying Boston, if there's anything around the city that you're planning on seeing.
Right. So it's I been several times, mostly to LA and San Francisco for events and some tourism and stuff. I arrived to Boston yesterday at like 11 p.m. So I haven't seen much, but we said earlier, maybe you just tuned in, that it was kind of cool that this is a city I feel like I can walk in. And that's what I enjoy a lot. You can sort of like go out, feel the streets a little bit, you know. And everyone's been super friendly as well, which is like so important. Like the first experience you get with a human interaction in a city usually sets the tone. And there was this one dude who was like, you know, super pleasant. So I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good. But I'm excited to experience it a little bit. I have this tingling feeling, you know, when you step into a city and you're like, I have never been here. This could be anything and everything. And that's kind of cool. That's what I love about going to these events as well. I get to see a lot of, you know, cities and parts of the world that I wouldn't have to otherwise. So yeah, I'm excited, but I'm not yet sure if it's like my favorite place or not. We'll see.
I love Boston. I come here just about every year for PAX East, and it's one of the highlights, I would say, of my year, just because it's such a beautiful city. Like you said, there's so much.
Where are you guys from, by the way?
Well, I mean, we live in LA, obviously.
Yeah,
so.
but
I am from Houston.
okay.
Houston.
We have a problem, as everyone usually follows that up with. Yeah.
And I am from I'm all over. I grew up all over the place.
That's cool.
Literally all over the country.
Where are you from? All over. I haven't heard about that. Where's
From
that?
all over. Well, my dad was in broadcasting growing up, so like I literally moved all over.
Just
the
moved
country.
all over, yes.
All right, we have another question.
How y'all doing?
Doing wonderful, thank you.
My question, I recently saw your Karma montage.
Oh,
and
cool.
It was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
My question was, could you talk about what inspired you to create that kind of video, and that if you were going to do more cinematic videos like that?
Right. So those videos are very special to me because they are sort of like something that I put so much hours and work into. It's like if I had a business manager, which I don't, he or she would go up to me and say, like, stop doing this because it doesn't really make sense for what I get out of them, like from a business perspective. But for me, those are super important because that's when I can sort of sit down and sort of go like, yeah, this is what I'm capable of doing. And I can sort of like be a little bit proud of them and get people like yourself that walks up and go like, that was a great one, you know? And that really keeps me motivated in what I do. And it makes me feel like I deserve the spot that I'm in, right? But those videos are very interesting because they start off with like me deciding on a champion that I feel like this has not really been touched on as much. Like the montage I've done so far is like Vel'Koz, Karma, and then there was Rammus, you know, who the hell plays Rammus? Well, now everyone plays him, but back in the,
anybody in top lane.
But
Blame the Koreans.
who makes a sick MLG montage of it, though? No, but so that's where it starts, and then I play a crap ton of that champion to an insane extent, so I actually get decent at it. And then it's a process of first finding a good music tune that I can then, you know, get in touch with the creator of that tune, sit down and edit it the way I want it, so it fits with, because I'm already like building up scenes in my head. And then it's right into the editing software, and I spend my life there for a while, you know. And I sit there and I tone things up and down, and I sort of zoom in and zoom out, and you know, text and everything slapped on there, which all in all ends up with a good video that I hate because I've been looking at it for way too long. But inspiring me, I think just that's. The inspiration for them are just that bar we were talking about that is constantly being raised by other people that are really talented editors. I mean, the Peace Pigeon, who's now working for Riot, is a very talented editor that I looked at when he came around. It was like, this guy does what I do, but better. And that's great, right? So a lot of the other content creators out there are the ones that are inspiring me to do these videos, definitely.
I think the community just, like the players, all of y'all out there, and like, honestly, all of us, like we all benefit, especially when you content creators, when you collaborate, when you work together.
For sure.
Like, I loved what was it, the Black Enola video that he did recently with Lunity, I think it was? Or
yeah, they did a music
They did a music
together,
video.
yes.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, you should definitely go onto Black Enola's channel and check it out. It's really good. And also, while you're here, you should go over to a booth over there. I can't remember which one it was. I think it's a HyperX or something. And say hi to Black and Ola if you haven't. So yeah, that's like I love seeing you all push each other to make better and better content. I love it, especially when you all collaborate.
Yeah,
like,
I got
it produces some amazing content. So
for sure.
Also, by the way, just in case you guys aren't aware, at noon right here in this booth, we're going to be doing a Big Ten show match. So it's a kind of a match between the Ohio State University League of Legends team and the Michigan State League of Legends team. So that's going to be happening, I believe, at noon right here in this booth. So please stick around for that. All right, we have another question right here.
Hello, Sp4zie.
Hello, sir. You have a wonderful outfit.
Thank you very much. So, by the way, after watching your Karma montage and videos, I now main Karma because of you.
There you go.
There we go.
I mean,
Nice. It's you and Faker, buddy. It's you and Faker.
I mean, I learned Karma from you, saying that. You taught me. You taught me Karma.
Well, thank you so much.
But from your point of view as a player, who, while the meta's always changing every day, what is your current top 5 favorite champions or your champion pool right now when the meta's always changing?
Right, so I am very much a fool. I keep with champions that aren't good. So I think my picks right now would be, Karma, of course. Probably at the #1 spot. I still like just insta-locking her in normals with my friends. They're like, oh, it's Karma mid, what a surprise. We have never played with that before. And then there's Vel'Koz, of course. Serath still up there. I would like to put Syndra there, but Syndra would be a good example where I sort of shied away a little bit from her because she felt so lackluster to what she was. And then what else we have? Rammus, of course, in the jungle, and not top. I cannot play him top.
No?
I guess it's just too good top for me to be able to play
I just
him.
can't last hit with him. I'm terrible at last hitting with him. That's why I play him in jungle.
His auto attack animations are so like, it just has a spasm, and it's sort of like, that's sort of maybe what confuses you.
It could be.
Could be.
That's how I feel about a lot of the older champions, to be completely honest.
It's good. A Taric rework. He's looking really sexy now when it's like slapping minions like this.
I want to say, I think that I can't remember which designer it was. They already said that they're going to be doing some nerfs to him in the next patch.
I can imagine. So those champions are always up there. And in terms of like the meta game, I feel like for me, it's sort of more of a lucky strike when one of my champions ends up being in the meta. More of me seeking out OP picks, in a sense. But then there's some of that as well. Like if a new champion comes out and I try him and I was like, ooh, this is potent, I just go for it.
Right on. All right. Thanks for the question.
Oh, there. You got it? Wait. Press the button.
Hello, hello.
There we go.
Test. There it is.
Hi, Sp4zie.
How's it going?
How do you keep yourself interested in the game after playing it for 5 years?
Yeah. So it's a common question I get. I think one of the good answers is that I actually don't get to play as much as I maybe like, which is good because that keeps me refreshed. In between just a crap ton of editing, traveling to cool places like this, managing everything, because I don't have anyone who works for me, and I like that way. I like it that way. So I do a lot of sometimes I sit and I power through emails for 5 hours. So in between all of that, I don't get to play as much as I'd like. There's a very common thing is that when I put on my weekly streams at Tuesday, 4 p.m. Central European Time, twitch.tv/Sp4zie with the phone's dead name. I usually haven't played since the last stream, which is surprising to a lot of people because, well, don't I live and breathe League? Yeah, I do, but there's so much work around what I do that I often don't get to play it. And the luxury of that is, again, that I don't get bored because, I'm psyched to play some League again because I haven't played it in a week, right? And then, of course, there is the fact that whenever I'm bored, I can just switch, whatever champion I'm playing, or the way we play as a group. Like we mentioned, all teleports earlier. Let's play Frost champions from Fjelljord, yay! And then, we're sort of refreshed and we're back into it. So I think I'm pretty good at having fun while playing the game. We talked about earlier making sure that you enjoy what you do when you sit there on your valuable free time playing games, not going in there and hoping that it'll be a fun experience, but making sure it's a fun experience. And I think that you should all make sure that you have fun when you play games.
Well, there's also a common thread I'm noticing through all of your ways of making sure the game is fun, and that is that you're actually playing with your friends.
Of course,
and that's I think a huge part that
absolutely
can't
it's a social thing.
It is a social thing.
Yeah.
League is definitely fun with friends. It's more fun with friends. So hey, make some. If you don't have folks that you know in real life who play League, it's a great opportunity to make League friends here. Turn to the player sitting next to you. Say hi. Right. What rank are you? Okay.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much.
And now another beautiful outfit.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Oh, there it is.
I appreciate it. Just got a good question. What rank are you?
Well, right now I'm plat 2 or 3, I think. Season 3 I was Diamond 2. Season 4 I was Diamond 4. Season 5 is now, right?
No, this is like season 6.
Wait, season 5 I was Diamond 5 then.
Okay.
So I've gradually getting closer to plat, and then maybe this is the season where I stay there, but I hope not.
All right. Is platinum above bronze, or is it the other way around?
It's the other way around. So if you're bronze, then you're definitely better than me.
That's all I wanted to ask.
There you
Thank
go, buddy.
Thanks for the question.
Great question. That was probably the best one.
That was, definitely. Quality.
Hey, what's going on, Sp4zie?
What's up, man?
I have a question. For your next montage video, do you know what champion you're going to do next?
Ooh.
Spoiler?
Well, yeah. I have some ideas. I'm not sure I want to spoil them, though, because I really I think there's a cool factor of it being like, oh, wait, I didn't know you could even play that champion, right? I kind of like that idea. So I'm not going to spoil it, although I do have a couple of champions in mind right now.
All right. Are they going to be coming out soon?
No.
No?
Again, we talked about it just a little bit earlier, that the amount of time I spend on these montages is so much. And in between everything else, I can sort of like get a little bit of time in there every now and again. So we're not looking at a week. It's probably going to be way longer. And also, those are one of those side projects I'm talking about where I want to get it just right. I don't want to push it because I need a video out there, right? So, but stay tuned. I hope I won't disappoint you.
All right, sounds good.
You're gonna have lots of.
Thanks,
you're
man.
gonna be uploading lots of vlogs from this event. I imagine.
I'm sure that'll happen.
Absolutely.
Another those fancy IRL.
All right, folks. We got time for a few more questions there.
Awesome.
How's it going?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm great. I wanted to know when's the next time do you think we're gonna see another champion select dub? Because I think Crippo needs some love.
All right. Well, again, another side project that I'm working on. I do have a folder that says LCS Champion Select, and there's a lot of clips in there because, yeah, this is an old video for those of you who have no idea that I did. I don't even want to know how long it was ago that I made it, but it was a while, yeah. And since then, I've been grabbing some things, So I'm thinking that would be a fun addition to whatever I do next with it. Is that it's going to be clips from a lot of different types of events and years and seasons even. But that's also one of those videos where it's gone a little bit too long because I'm now a little bit afraid to get on with it because that's probably the most requested video to do for me. Constantly, everyone wants another champion select, but I'm gonna do it at some point. I promise you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Alrighty. So we do have time for one more question. Absolutely.
There's a guy with a tinfoil hat.
There is a guy with a tinfoil hat.
He's looking really sexy. How's it going? There it is. That's the wave.
Hi, Sp4zie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing awesome.
I was wondering how you got so good at the automaton.
Oh, yes. So.
I got one because I saw it on your stream, but I'm not good at it.
Did you bring it here to the event?
No, I did.
I could have shown you.
What is this thing?
So this is a Japanese instrument. Let's call it an instrument, where it looks like a little note, but it has a little mouth, and it's adorable. It's like a little tadpole, or whatever they're called, in Super Mario RPG on SNES. You had a lot of tadpole-themed things,
right?
And this looks like something out of that. That's a weird reference, maybe, but regardless, you basically slide your finger up and down, and it recognizes where your finger is, and then it sort of makes a little noise, and then you use the mouth to sort of give a little bit of wah-wah-wah to it. Yeah,
it's the most compromising gestures.
But it is also very difficult to play this instrument because it's very sensitive when you slide it.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I think, let's just not. I think like with anything in life, practice makes perfect. I've practiced it a lot. And I guess I have a little bit of a musical background with my father being a musician and stuff. So maybe that helped a little bit. But I'm sure if you just practice and Loy along with me on the streams, we'll do just fine and you'll get there. I wish you brought it though. If you brought it, I would have showed you some moves.
I would have loved to have seen an on stage demonstration of this thing.
That'd be great.
I'm gonna have to go watch some YouTube videos.
Please don't GIF that.
Please GIF it, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we got one more question then. Yep, let's do one more.
I'm scared.
Tinfoil hat man. What does your sign say?
The end is near.
Okay.
Okay, then. Okay.
So, Spazzy, you're a fan with the merch over there. Got me an automaton, but you got me the half-sized one.
Okay,
Should I
then.
be offended?
You should not be offended, but you should definitely see it as an opportunity to move on to the bigger one eventually, right?
So just get more.
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. So don't overdo it, you know. Start small and then go bigger, right?
Fair enough.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much, audience, for all of your questions today. If you guys give yourselves a round of applause. Woo! Thank you, guys. And thank you so much to Sp4zie for being here for this episode. Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to be standing here if you guys want to come up and say hi afterwards. I'll just be hanging around.
Very cool. And don't forget to stick around. We do have The Ohio State versus Michigan State in our Big Ten show match coming up here in just about 40 minutes, about 45 minutes. So we'll be starting here. So you want to say anything else, Chris?
No, it's great.
It's been a lot of
awesome.
fun. With a fist bump. With a fist bump. There we go. Thank you so much, PAX East, and we'll see you all on the show floor. Bye-bye.